We are live. Let me refresh this thing. Make sure you can see us and hear us. For Mindset Monday. Probably going to be our last one of the year. See
See
what
us
we
in
do
here.
next year. See what's going on for 2022. Today, 8 business questions to ask yourself for 2022. Now that the year's coming to a close. Q4 still doing well, of course, but we've got 3 more weeks, a little bit less since the year ends, and
Yep, yep,
then
yep.
into January. So we just wanted to talk about game planning for next year, different questions. So the chat, we're gonna need some responses and see what you guys think. I guess to start off for the chat and for the B, did 2021 kind of go as you initially thought it would?
Initially, well, it was kind of like overwhelming to begin with because we had that early of the year boost in sales. Um, you know, I don't think anybody could have planned for that, right? I think it benefited a lot of the people that had a lot of inventory. Um, so that was good, right? An expected boost of sales is good, but I think on the end of the year, I never expected it to be a lot harder to find inventory. Uh,
Mm.
with a preface of high ROI inventory, because before everybody comes in, oh, you can buy this and that. Yeah, there's so many 10% ROI inventory out there, but I wasn't gonna settle for that. So that was the the unexpected part of it. But as the months go by, you know, looking at it in a bigger picture scenario, it made sense, right? With all the delays, with all the logistical issues and stuff like that. So I think that's, you know, I would say the later part was something that we could have predicted a lot more. So I'm not surprised of the second half result, but
Mm.
I think the first half result was surprising in a sense that we got a lot more sales towards it. So I think overall, um, I would say I thought we were gonna pull the same numbers last year, but from what it looks like, we're gonna have some positive increase this year.
Let me see, Patrick. What up, Island Boy? The man inspiration in hand. William Perry, SA, Sticker Pickers, SA 2022. I'm already planning for 2023.
Wow.
Astro Drip. What up, D-Bay? Fly Kicks. Patrick gonna need some help part time, which we're gonna talk about that sourcing, listing, shipping, bookkeeping. Let's see, Big Money Mo, retrospective gear. Let me see. Like in 3 legs, sneaker pickers, local brick and mortars told me Nike orders canceled until June 2022.
Hmm.
Kevin, what's up? DJ, I'm gonna say no to that question as far as 2021. Darren, has there been any talk on eBay charging again for shoes over 100? Nothing yet.
Nope.
Let me see. Danny, what's up? How does beginning of January do for you guys? Usually it's a little slow later January, beginning January, people are still buying stuff.
Hmm.
I don't know if they
Yeah.
have gift cards or maybe they
Yeah.
returning stuff and getting what they
Or
wanted
they're
or
yeah, or they're like gift to themselves kind of thing. I
yeah.
know that's what I did before.
Yeah.
I'd
March is usually really good too.
Yeah, I'd have a budget for gifts, and then I'd try to squeeze in and save as much money so that I have leftover for myself.
See, there we go. Manny Fresh, what up? Josh, what up? All Star Sports. When does the new tax law take start with sales from 2021 or 2022? It starts
Next year.
January 1st
Hmm.
of 2022. All right. Let me see. Sam's Club is selling Adidas Superstars now, says DJ.
Yep.
Adidas. Let me go back up and see. Well, to answer the question, oh, Gritty Girl Boss, what's up? And Hustle and Muscle. I think as having your own business, it's always like kind of like that torn between like, could I have done better?
Hmm.
Or am I doing too much that maybe I should be hiring out to help do other things?
Hmm.
Am I wasting time on certain things?
So
I think
equally
there's
flip
oh,
flip
you're
flip.
always gonna have that battle with
Yeah.
yourself.
Hmm.
So it's kind of a trick question as far as like how 2021 went. Um, I think it's the worst. I think sourcing as far as in store goes.
Hmm.
There's other ways to get inventory, of course. But as far as in the history of Ross finds and people
Right.
asking like, how many have you seen it? Ever seen it this slow?
Yeah.
No, I've never seen it this slow. As far as
Yeah.
Nike stuff, shoes,
Hmm.
and that goes. Buying, definitely the sales have been there. It hasn't. I thought maybe after the stimmies and
Stimmy.
all that,
Yeah.
maybe things
Yeah.
would kind of slow down a little bit.
Hmm.
People still buying. People still
Yep.
buying
So steady.
whatever,
Still been steady. Yeah.
even with the inflation, gas going
Right.
up, things like that. People still buying stuff. That hasn't stopped. So it's been up and down. Of course, 2022. We'll see what it brings. But let's see some of the questions, and I want to see what the chat has to say and how they feel about it. So, Miles, what up? It's a huge sales boost December, big money. Mo. All right. So eight questions. Business questions
Yeah.
to ask yourself 2022. Here we go with B and the chat. Right as of right now, what keeps you awake at night when it comes to the business? Anything that you're kind of going back and forth thinking about over
Mhm.
and over and over again. Um, that's for the chat. That's for the B. I'll also chime in. I think for me, what kind of I think about over and over again is kind of like more like the bulk sales, trying to like how I don't know, like I have opportunities to get inventory, and I wonder like am I kind of wasting time doing other things that instead of maybe grinding it out and getting this like bulk stuff that even though the numbers aren't sky high compared to shoes, but the
Right.
money and opportunities are definitely there. Like, Ross, like making videos and things like that. Is it considered kind of a waste of time to do that when there's other opportunities I probably could be focusing on to
Right.
that's going to bring in inventory
Hmm.
regardless?
Yeah.
And to go deeper on it and to try different things.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of like back and forth when it comes to that. But I mean, I love the YouTube side, but I wonder what else. I mean, what else should I be doing?
Right. Yeah.
What do you think?
I think like just knowing you for a while now, I definitely agree on that side that um especially when you're trying to test something different than you've something that you've never done before, right? Um there will be a sort of a sacrifice on something that you're doing to transfer whether the effort, time, and finances onto something that's new.
Yeah.
Whether that be bulk buying or online buying or wholesale buying. At the beginning, it's not gonna look like you made the right choice because you're not gonna get the instant result right away. And of course, you don't want instant result because the instant results are the results that don't last,
Mm,
right? It's just like yeah, like you got lucky, but did you actually learn the process of acquiring bulk inventory or wholesale inventory? So I think the one thing that I've gave up a lot on this year, which kind of turned into a better positive ROI, was putting out content on my Instagram. We're gonna be honest, like my Instagram hasn't been the most active this year, and even last year. I think a lot of the time has been put into other things where testing different product, testing different brands. Um, and looking back at it now, it's like, man, like I'm glad I did. But on the beginning, I was like, man, like, like my Instagram's not there, the content's not there, like it's not like what it used to be. So I
mm,
think there has to be that transition phase that you do that. So like I think the things that keep me up are like the things again, like to go back to what I said earlier, is like should I put in more time on this thing, right? And then at the end of the day, right, we're gonna have like capital issue, everything like that. But a lot of that could be resolved if you truly want to pursue, right? Like, what's stopping me from borrowing money? What's stopping me from raising more capital? Or, you know, see what I'm saying? Like, what's stopping me from hiring help, right? So those are the things that, to truly grow, you have to do something more than what you're doing. Um, and you have to try things that you've never done. So I'm at the point where, like, do I want to cross that? And if I do, I gotta make sure that I truly want it, because it's gonna be a grind.
Well, that's interesting how you talked about, I guess, like the personal branding as far as like IG goes, because that
Right.
goes into like number two,
Okay.
which I thought it was interesting because it kind of relates to us, everybody, I think that watches or even part of like the whole reselling thing.
Right.
Does your personal branding really matter, or should you be marketing your business
Mm-hmm.
instead? So
Oh.
I guess the example is kind of like, let's say Big Money Mo, for
Right.
example. Um, would what would be better, like making a Big Money Mo page and showing your finds,
Or
or making like
an
maybe
Instagram
like
page
a,
for your business,
yeah,
right?
an Instagram page for your business that's, hey, this is for sale, this is for
Mm-hmm.
sale,
Right.
and trying to use a proper hashtag to get you, and you have your own website
Right.
selling these products without, of course, having to pay those sort of fees. Well, eBay
Mhm.
doesn't have fees anyway, but
Right.
I guess that they could have that option of buying from you from IG or
Mm-hmm.
your own website.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to, let me go back to Astro Drip. It has a really good question. Are we too reliant on one brand to make six-figure a year profit? Yes. What do you think? Yes or no? Before we continue to number two,
Um,
which,
I wouldn't think that's true, because for me, I look at items as ROI. And there are definitely brands that I've tried that there were the ROIs there, right? But we cannot discount the fact that Nike sells X amount of million compared to, hundreds of million compared to only a few million to other brand. So the only reason why I personally have stayed within the Nike realm, it's because it's the brand that I'm familiar with. And when you're building something and we're trying to grow it, your expertise on the brand will matter.
mm,
So that will be your edge. Now, the moment you go out of that, now you have to put in the time again to know the brand. So the question is, are you willing to, I would say, give up the growth of a thing that you already know about? Let's say example, are you willing to put a pause or a slowdown on your growth with Nike to explore a different brand, or would you just focus on one thing and be really good at that brand and build connections around that brand, which is the step that we've took in the last 2 years. uh Getting to Foot Locker, Champs, all those drops, with the Flex app, with that outlet game, right? And owning your own city. I haven't traveled a lot the last few years because I focused down on, made it a goal that they have to know my name when I walk in the store. And I think we've gotten to that point now. Now, again, that was the question. What's next?
well, I guess, would, can you also say, instead of saying brand, could you also say like niche?
Niche?
You
Yeah,
know, because
we could.
if you go out of that like sportswear niche,
Mm-hmm.
not like you're starting all over again, but you are. There's always something to learn, because you're paying. You have to pay attention to the details. You could literally go to Ross every single day, over and over and over again, and there still could be something you could miss. Why? Because there's small little details in there that you would really have to make that effort. But sometimes it's like, got to get to the next door. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you overlook things.
Right.
I think the same thing could happen for the niche or whatever you're selling.
Right.
There's something you could learn every single day,
Yeah.
and to improve, whether that's time or shipping or the product or the niche. So I don't know. I think, I mean, it is a good question, but I think it also has to do with maybe the brand or the niche, and you're focusing on that. I think you're only
Mhm.
going to get better and better.
Right.
Let's say we can say sportswear in general, but even
Right.
that's pretty far out there, because we're talking about anything that has to do with, I guess, like sports.
Mm-hmm.
either teams
Right, because
or the
it could
actual
be,
sport.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
could be as far as, like I'm not as educated in track cleats, right? When I started, I got a jump start on you on the soccer cleats,
yeah,
right? And then that was something that
even the
you
football
never,
ones.
yeah, you never saw it at first, right? And
Yeah,
then we saw it together and we chased it together. So and so did everybody else realize that, Wait a minute, there's a lot of money to be made here." That's why when we started, like, they, like, I'm a sneakerhead by trade, but I flip more than sport specific shoes before, compared to the retros, because you can't beat a $30 purchase and flip it to $100 purchase, rather than buying a retro for 200 and flipping it to for 250.
mm,
That would have been a slow growth for me. So I think even within the brand alone itself, there's just so many different aspects
yeah.
of subcategories, right? And I think that could be something, instead of jumping away from something that you're already familiar with, why don't you dig deeper and see if there's actually subcategories that you can master on? I can tell you right now, I'm weak on golf, on the golf category.
Mm,
um is it because we're not finding it, or is it we're not chasing it because we don't know anything about it?
true. Like, would we
Right,
know what's a good ass deal on certain
right,
golf
right.
things if
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's a very valid, kind of point of view to bring up. Yeah,
so going back to number two,
yeah,
which Big Money Mo, Big Money Mo is just an example because we all do it as far as like
yeah.
a posting fines or whatever, but we
Right,
wonder, and some people do already have like a separate page for
right.
their
Yeah,
store,
selling.
kind of
Yeah.
like, hey,
Hmm.
I'm only selling shoes, and we've seen them too. They have
Yeah,
certain tags on there or
yeah.
certain
Mhm,
things showing their shoes. So Big Money Mo says, I've thought about that. I can always add selling to Instagram, but to build an audience, you have to put some type of content, and sharing
mhm,
finds is the only thing I can think of now.
mhm,
And I think someone else had a good comment. Trackstar brand is really important. If eBay and Amazon go away tomorrow, you'll still have your brand. Very
mhm,
important too,
mhm,
which is a great point. Big Money Mo, actually, when I started reselling, I was counting heavy on a different brand with outlet, Marshalls Burlington. Then that brand sourcing fell off and became more heavy on outlet and Marshalls now.
mhm.
So that's the thing too, is like when other things aren't coming into play, and then you also, I think it's also good to narrow it down for things, of
Yeah,
course, that are working for you instead of being so spread. But sometimes when things aren't working, it is good to be spread out. So it's always like a counter thing. It's always
yeah,
going back and
yeah,
forth. Like,
yeah.
you know,
And I think ultimately, right, the reason why I personally built the brand, the Hustle Bee brand, it was because to, give back to the community that have helped us. And it went from that to actually being noticed and being heard by the platforms that we sell for, right? We've been a big advocate for eBay, and we've, tried to, so to say, penetrate eBay so that we can talk to the people in there. And because of our influence, or the brand that we have built within our community, that we could be considered that trusted seller, or that valid feedback, that we're just not here to complain, but we're here to be able to and willingly work with them to improve our own platform, right? Because if they win, we win. If we win, they win. So I think it was that grind that we did in 2018 and 2019, that we did get to sit down with people. And I think as a result of what we've built, I mean, even with my personal journey, then being invited to certain things, meetings, being invited to brainstorming sessions, and to a point I didn't even expect that they would do a seller highlight for me. And I
mm,
think a lot of that was because of the brand that I've built, with the help of Hustler Hacks YouTube channel. And I think, it boosted our story up. So I think, yes, there is positive. I think it's more of like um a self-fulfillment factor, right? That couldn't be bought by money, because there's some sort of value there. It's not something like, okay, oh, we just have followers, but I think it's a lot of it is just validation of the good work that you've done, right? Because if you haven't done good work, then there won't be that much support to what we're doing or what we're trying to accomplish. But I think, ultimately there's levels. So I am willing to put that in a pause right now to take my business to the next level so I have something to talk about. Because I
Mm,
cannot talk about the same thing over and over again because things change. And ultimately, my personal goal is actually to take the business to the next level and experience what that next level would be like.
yeah.
I think a lot of part of the entrepreneur within us is because of that journey, right? When the journey stops, I think that's when we start just wasting time, wasting opportunity, and just kick back and relax.
Yeah.
So when we have those much times, then now we have more more useless things that we're involved in instead of trying to pursue something that's really worth it for us.
Let me see. Glenn can get a video of your office inventory setup compared to Hustlebee's video on IG. Yeah, I mean Hustlebee's inventory, him and his wife have everything on point. Mine is categorized, but I don't have number one, I don't have the room like B does, but I can show what I what
Yeah,
I have set
yeah.
up. Number three, what platforms do you plan on use or not using next year?
Mm-hmm.
This is for the chat. This is for the B,
Right.
and I'll start off
Yeah.
by, I mean, I think Mercari really stepped up more than I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
going to. So I definitely
Hmm.
think Mercari, and of course, eBay will stay. Um, Something that we've been talking about more is kind of like different like auction setup or things
Right.
like that. Could that be
A
coming
viable
into
option, right?
play
Huh.
like an option? Maybe. And so for everybody else, do you plan on trying to mix in Poshmark? What about Amazon getting ungated, or maybe you're already ungated? Do you want to try to sell certain brands? Maybe FBA, maybe merchant fulfilled. Goat, StockX. Are you eliminating StockX? I haven't sold anything on there in months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I the prices are just so different than Goat. The fees are insane. I haven't done anything in a long
Right.
time for StockX, but Goat I definitely still plan on using and selling. That's gone well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think other platforms, or maybe your own website, like we talked about earlier, creating
Mm-hmm.
your own website or trying to brand something out to sell on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere else.
Right.
StockX canceled Astro Drip. Sneaker Pickers also going to drop StockX, going to start
Mhm.
on Mercari.
Right.
Let me see. Mercari lack of overseas is something they got to do. Very good point. SA. I
Right.
need to grow my Amazon, but I'm tired of selling air fryers. Big money mo. SA Grailed. Grail definitely a different option as well. Haven't sold anything on StockX in September. Sneaker Pickers. I plan to go harder Mercari. They're listening to sellers' feedback. Great. That one's for
Right.
Miles.
Yeah.
StockX out.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. Sent in my Preston shirt back. What? $2.95 sale. They had it in odor. Fly
Mm-hmm.
kicks. Goat greater than StockX. Southtown fines.
Yeah.
eBay king for shoes, but the authentication rejections is a problem,
Mm-hmm.
dude ball. So yeah, it's kind of we've all had good
Mm-hmm.
and bad experiences with the eBay authentication. But then again, we've had that with Goat and StockX too. So
Yeah, it's not like it's just that one platform that has bad. I think if you look at it percentage wise, it's still less. It's still less. It's still very low. Like one of the things that caught my eye actually, like I'm a numbers guy, and then now I'm looking at Poshmark, and Poshmark actually I haven't done anything all year to be honest until like the last Q4 push, maybe like second week of November. It was just something that it's like because we always have something bad to say, right? But when we start saying that, we actually lose the opportunity, right? Just to give you guys a perspective, I didn't even realize this until now as well. That overall I've sold $44,000 in Poshmark.
mm,
That's wild. I didn't know that. I just pulled it right now because at first I didn't like them because they didn't have reports, but now they do, right?
okay.
So for the last month we've sold 7,000. I'm like,
Mm,
if we look back at it, like, man, that's big. That totally took care of all my expenses the last 2 months,
yeah.
right? Like
So
like what? now it's a realization that I'm having right now, that if I think about it, if I get to maintain Poshmark to pay my bills, use the same inventory that I have already on eBay, I'm not sourcing differently. I'm literally just cross listing. And, thank God for technology, we have cross listing services now that doesn't even take what, 5 minutes to cross list, but maybe two
Yeah.
minute max, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm able to generate revenue that I'm not touching my rolling capital for eBay. So that's just, like that's so cool to me that I could do Goat, Poshmark, Mercari, and eBay, and really have a healthy business.
Yeah.
And currently being ran by two people. So
What about everybody in the chat though? Does selling on multiple platforms, are you still trying to maybe figure that out and like something sells, I
mhm,
gotta take it off?
yeah.
I double sell things, that kind of issue, or maybe what's kind of limiting you from maybe
Mhm,
expanding out to different
mhm,
platforms? I guess we can
yeah.
throw that out there. But yeah, a lot of people love Poshmark. A lot of people
So
love.
yeah, and I don't do all the sharing and stuff. Like I just post good product because I'm a
Mm,
firm believer of a good product will sell itself. Um, and then they said 20% fee bother you. I would say no, only because we're already paying what my selling cost right now on eBay is 12% after shipping and all the promotions. So what's 8% more, and I don't have to pay for shipping, right? And there's no returns. Do it right, there's no return. So I'm looking at it like just another goat. And from the average sale price of Poshmark, it's very low because I sell mostly the lower value items on Poshmark. So a 20% fee on a $50 item is $10. Doesn't hurt me. Now I'm not gonna sell a $500 item there because that's gonna hurt me, right? So I think it's just a matter of actually fitting the inventory based on the platform that you're trying to sell it, right? So of course we don't want to sell $50 items on Goat either, right? We want to sell the higher items on Goat. So I think it's just the appropriation of your inventory. And I think, to be honest, it's really just when you know your inventory, when you know the value and the worth of your inventory, then you are actually more uh you'll make a better decision on where to sell it. Because sometimes a lot of people don't know their inventory because they just follow what other people buy.
Very true. Let me go back up. Astral Drip, talking about $35 to $90 items.
Yeah.
Poshmark is great for. Let me see. How do you cross list? List perfectly is what we use for that. Double selling is my Achilles heel. Miles. Um, Trackstar only sell on eBay, Amazon, and Go. No need to expand past that, which is also true too. Because when you own the platforms that you're on,
Hmm.
that also helps too. Because we've seen that too. If you have like 5 different platforms and then it's something
Oh,
to
it's
sell,
hard.
you really got to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. You can't take a nap at that point.
No. Let me see. Big Money Mom heavy on goat, and I get cancellation, but goat score don't mean anything. That's
Yeah,
very true too. Let me see. If you double sell on Poshmark, there is no penalty.
yeah.
There you go. I will not sell on StockX. William Perry. All right, let's go to number 4. This question to ask yourself: is my business prepared for the long term, or only for the now? And this might have been. I wonder what this question would have been like maybe in
In 2019.
January, in 2019, and also late 2020, early 2021.
Hmm.
Um, when sourcing was still going in store, sourcing was great and things were still there. And then we started to see things switch. Then we started to see less and less people selling. I mean, even some of the sellers, even probably people in the chat here, some of your competition have started to disappear.
Hmm.
In that case, wasn't prepared for the long term, but maybe the whole organization and everything being prepared was there, but there was just some sort of factor, in this case it being inventory,
Yeah.
but the infrastructure, maybe I would say, is there. But what happened? So I guess long term, or maybe it just depends also on what your goals are, because your long-term goal, you can last and keep building that out. If you're planning on selling, you keep rolling over the money.
Hmm.
I think, I mean, you'll be fine because you're going to keep finding ways to bring in that
Yeah.
inventory. I think once you stop
It's
and
when
then
you
you do
start
get a little
pulling
bit more
out.
fancy,
It's
yeah,
not
you're
pulling
pulling out
every
that
time.
money and you're doing other things with it,
Yeah.
then I think things are also going to get tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what do you think about that? I guess,
Y- I think right from the get go, it was, people made fun of my business strategy as a storage facility because my goal was to hold a big amount of inventory.
mm,
And I think part of that was, for me, it felt a security for me. I felt secure when I had the moment I hit 100,000 in inventory. I felt secured because that meant if I sell 20,000 a month, I have 5 months headway if I stop sourcing.
mm,
So for me, that was a comfort factor. Now when I hit 200,000 inventory, I was like, this is a different ball game. Now it feels like I'm indestructible because something out of those 2,000 items is gonna sell, right? And I think for me, I think the long term strategy is always good, and if you play it right, it's not gonna stop you to play the short game too. For
yeah,
example, right? Like all my buys are long term. Most of my buys are long term, right? Because I'm trying to buy off season, right? So I bought the jackets during summertime, and then now I'm trying to, I bought all the basketball shoes when it was in basketball season, right? So that's what
yeah.
we do. We try to buy it the least because it gets clearance out. So we start doing that, right? But what's stopping me from flipping mids and flipping lows, which I did for a quick buck? None of it stopped me,
Yeah.
right? Now, if we say it, I could totally have two different business. One is my eBay that's long term hold, and then I got long term kind of like 20% sell through every month, right? Or I have my retros that I could easily dump if I want to, right? Perfect example. It was a bad decision, but I did it when I bought all the Jordan 4 white Oreo. I
mm,
probably had 14 pairs and literally flip it within a weekend and made a lot of money. But long term, it didn't play out well, but I still was able to scratch my itch if I wanted to play the short game,
yeah.
right? Like so now I think when because I prioritize long term strategy first, now I'm able to play both. But I think if you do short term build out right off the get go, it's so hard to have a long term business.
I'm still selling VaporMax 2019 for top dollar, big money mo,
100%.
especially because the things like when people can't get it, that's when they want it the most.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
why even when you go every, like if you go to Finish Line or something, whatever that model is out during that time, and then you no longer see it anymore.
Yep.
And
That's it.
now all of a sudden people want it, even though it was
Yeah.
sitting on shelves,
Yeah.
no one cared. But
Yeah.
now that it's gone, I
Yeah.
want it.
What
Uh,
was Gold Canyons? What was that? The Canyon, the Vapor Max 2019,
oh yeah, oh yeah,
the cheese looking one, right? The
yeah.
orange and green. I just sold
Packers
one.
looking one.
Yeah, I just sold one the other day for 130, and I'm like, okay, everybody didn't want to buy it anymore, right? Because it was flooded, comps were bad. Um, but now it looks like the 50, $60 investment paid out well, right?
Trackstar, you just can't stop no matter what. Resale freak, nothing is guaranteed. You just got to be flexible and have a mindset of following the money if you're a business owner. Big Money Mo, I'm too much in long term and it served me well, but I need to start flipping items faster because at this point, I don't think I'll have problems getting inventory. So that's also when things kind of change in the business when inventory might be coming to you or inventory is readily available. You do have to switch like
Mhm. Right.
a different tactic.
Mhm.
It's all about cash flow once you've gotten past the inventory hurdle. Broken soul. Very true. Danny, that's my goal is to be able to hold while still being able to live with stability.
Mhm.
Let me see. You have to be two sided, long and short, big money and fast money. says William Perry. So I think there's definitely a good, or maybe even like, I guess I'm trying to look at it as like, hats, jerseys, hoodies, jackets. Like I want to sell those and keep it going.
Mhm.
Retros, I just have them building up
Right.
more from like a long term
Right.
investment.
Because if you look at it, right, we say that nothing is guaranteed. But I can tell you right now, within the last, since 1984, since Michael Jordan wore, retros have been guaranteed to sell because of the nostalgia factor that's built in them. There are products that's guaranteed to make you money. It's just a matter of how much you can get a hold of it and how much you can stash away, right? Because we've said it. If we held on the band ones, if we held on the bread fours, the bread 11s, if think about it, if we put our head on the chopping block and say, I'm a bit, I'm a all in, sell everything and just hold on it right now. And imagine if we have 1,000 pairs of that total right now, and then that investment just went kaboom. We know it's gonna sell. It's just a matter of when are you okay with the profitability. So that's the guarantee. The guarantee is getting enough capital and stashing it. Now, yes, there's going to be a tornado that could take out my house.
True.
And, well, what's stopping me from walking out there and getting hit by a lightning? So, and there's a reason why there's businesses that just bank on certain things because it's a guarantee. Hospitals, there's a guarantee everybody's going to get sick. Pharmaceuticals, there's a guarantee everybody's going to buy something for something disease. There are industries that are like that, and I think within each industry, I think there are certain models that's guaranteed not to lose money.
Kind of like Lego.
100%, they're always going to be there.
Legos keep going up in value, especially sets people can't get anymore, and then they pay top dollar.
Yeah,
After a
yeah,
certain, I don't know, year or two, or well, like 2 to 3, 4 years,
yeah,
they just keep going up in value.
yeah. Because
Um,
because these brands are smart. They're not gonna kill it because they actually have marketing people that actually test the market and see what's like. Oh, they made 1 million of those. Yeah, exactly. Because how many people have went from not being able to buy the retros to now being able to buy retros? Millions of them too, right? Imagine the 16-year-old that didn't have a stable job that now has a stable job. There's 1 million of them that could buy it too. So just generationally, there's gonna be more population count each year that's gonna be financially able to buy that shoe.
yeah.
Then why would Nike not produce more?
Let me go back to the chat. Let me see. There's man, are you guys holding Cool Grays? Someone else. I'm interested to hear your Cool Gray investment or your take on it. I'm holding on to them. I
Mhm,
didn't. At least the ones I got this weekend and the ones that I ordered.
mhm.
I'm
Hold.
just gonna stack them with all the other retros that I'm just planning to
Right.
hold on
Why would
to.
you sell? Why do you want to quit now, Hustler Hacks?
Well,
That's why keep telling myself, like, why am I in a hurry to sell? Am I gonna quit? Am I gonna buy a Lamborghini tomorrow already? And if it's not in a certain near future on getting my ultimate dream or ultimate car, why would I be in a hurry to sell? Why would I ask what I want if I truly know the value of this item?
very true.
Because our goal is to be in a business where we know and we can expect a certain amount of profit. We're not guessing. Our goal is to not be in a business of guessing our profitability. Because if you are, then it is going to be a rough ride for you.
Yaroslav, you can't put retros and hospital in the same category. One is a necessity and one is not.
I would
Yes,
say,
yes, and no. Let me tell you why. Because Jordans, yes, are a want. They're not a
yeah,
need.
yeah.
But also, there's no
It,
money in healthy people. What
mm,
if you did everything you could to work out and eat healthy and you really don't go to the hospital that often or
right,
doctor that often?
right.
There's no
Because,
money to be made in you.
right,
Um, there's only money to be made, of course. There's accidents, there's people that
Yeah,
get sick, there's
yeah,
disease. So I don't know. I don't know. There's different, I guess different ways to look at
right, right. But there's a reason why the hospitals are hardly overbooked, but all the retros are sold out. When did
it.
the hospitals get overbooked? Only during COVID. In my lifetime, only in 2020. When have all the high hype retro sold out? Multiple times a year. So I guess they're doing better than hospitals.
Oh, there we go. You're also look into medical lobby.
I don't got time for that.
Let me go back up and see. You sell to reinvest and flip that money over 10x. Why wait, Eric D?
I, why are you in a hurry?
I don't know.
I'll
Now we're
wait for a
comparing
higher
hospitals
ROI.
to Jordans, Danny. Let me see. I mean, I agree too. I mean, I think that's kind
Yeah,
of like what William was saying. I mean, you have to have the short,
yeah, short
quick
term and
flips,
yeah,
and you have the
yeah,
longer ones.
yeah, yeah,
To kind of, but then also like what Big Money Mo said, when you have inventory readily available,
yeah,
then you have to make decisions too. What's worth holding on to, or what's kind of
yeah.
quick flipping to keep that cash
I
flow
think
going
that
in too, because you
I
have the
think yeah,
opportunity.
yeah, that's the art. I think that's the art part of the business that we're in, is the ability to be creative on what to hold and what not. And then only the market will tell you wrong. And the good thing about what the time we live in right now is we have the data of the past histories on how these certain items have done.
Hmm.
Now, if the band 11s drop, the band one drops tomorrow, you're gonna tell you you're gonna sell quick right away. That's a bad decision because you're gonna have to wait 5 to 6 years again for that thing to come back. Now, if you wait 2 more years, you could 3 4x your money, right? What, and then make your other quick money on other things. I'll quick I'll have a quick income or quick return on other things, not the high end holds.
Yeah, mix in the chat. Really good comments though. Let me see. Let me go back up. Eric D. B's argument doesn't make sense, but great thing is the business we can all do our own thing, which kind of goes to number 5, which
That's
I'm going to
cool.
read right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Danny says Big Money Mo can grow, but does he really need to? Well, that's up to Big Money Mo. What he
yeah,
wants to do.
yeah,
Um, Danny also mental health versus wealth is a thin line, which I'm gonna.
yeah.
That's almost like clear what we're gonna talk about for number 5. So it's
Oh
kind of
wow, wow.
interesting. You guys are already on point. Activate hustle mode. At some point, the percentage you gain every year gets smaller and smaller. So at what point will you sell and reinvest your money?
Mm-hmm,
But then AN says B is gonna sell them at 600 a pair because he doesn't need the money right now.
mm-hmm.
So he's actually winning. So that's where I think goes back to the cash flow thing. Like Big
Yeah,
Money Mo doesn't need money right now because he has already the money to keep flipping those items.
yeah,
But I think that if you do need the money and you do need to kind of keep that cash flow going,
mhm.
and you have other maybe bills going on, it's I think it's just a different situation. I mean, someone that
Right.
has 6 figures to spend.
Yeah, if you're floating everything on credit card or borrowed money, you gotta flip quick because you gotta pay that back. But if it's your own money and you don't owe anybody, it's it's long term. It makes sense to hold on. That's the reason why all these real estate investors hold on to prime lots. They don't flip them quick. That's why there's a term old money, because they've held onto these properties for so long, and that's why there's old business, because they've never changed and just stayed the same for, their goal was to last long. Their goal is not to make money quick.
Let me go to number 5, which you guys are, like I said, already on there. Am I working harder, smarter, or neither? And do I really need to?
Mm-hmm.
So, like Big Money Mo, I want to have time to watch 4 hours Netflix a day.
Mm-hmm.
But someone like Miles has kids and wants to spend time with their family.
Right.
Now, that is extremely important. And so,
Right.
if you're also in it for the long term, like what's the rush of trying to maybe sell certain things if you also want to have that free time?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, obviously, the more you're gonna keep building and working harder and maybe even longer as far as time wise per day, you're gonna have less time for family or things like that. This kind of
Right.
goes back to like Tekken Sports. Remember we talked about Tekken
Right.
Sports? I mean, $1 million seller and
Yes.
has gone up to like what 30,000 items or something.
Right. Right. Right.
Insane eBay
Yeah.
store.
Yeah.
Um, and the years and years of putting it into work. I
Like
mean, he
10
was how
years,
many?
right?
Yeah, and how
10
many
years
hours was he
grind.
working per week? I mean, it was
Yeah.
insane
Yeah.
for having also kids and stuff, but just
It's
all in
it's
on.
achievable. That's why he hasn't done any other like social media stuff, right?
Yeah, he just
Because he never had time, right?
yeah.
So now I feel like he's okay at where he's at. He doesn't have to grow too fast, too soon, too quick. That's why I think he has more time on doing other things, right?
And now I think with a more of a system in place has more
Yeah,
time
right.
because the 10-year grind of getting it to this point is
Mm-hmm.
totally different now than the first 2-3 years. Now I'm pretty sure he has employees and other things going on that's able to have the business run itself, and he can double check on things and everything else going on. So but Miles, it's a little bit of both: working hard and smart. Can't lose if you do both.
Mm-hmm.
Activate hustle mode. Reselling is actually giving me more time with my family,
Mm-hmm.
which goes back to the first comment of which someone said between, what was it, like thin line between
Health, mental
mental
health.
health and wealth.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you gotta identify what truly matters for you, and when you identify that, you have to be okay with the results based on the just different times and seasons where you go through, right? Like I've said this before, like this year, I've lived a more lavish life than I've ever had ever in my existence of my you know my being human here on earth, and I was okay with it. I loved it, I enjoyed it. Now if Glenn hears me complaining about not having money to spend, not having anything, Glenn could easily say, like, what are you talking about? You've been paying $500 meals. That's the reason why you're broke. And if I'm not okay with it, I mean, that's just a simple fact of like, okay, if he's okay with it and B's happy, B's living it, let it be, right? And but now on the contrary, if I'm grumbling and I'm complaining, and then Glenn sees me sourcing sparingly, now I don't source like I used to, and I keep complaining about inventory, then obviously it's an easy call. It's like, what are you talking about? You're out always having a vacation, you're not sourcing, so your inventory level's not growing, right? And that's why I think it's very important to know your numbers and to be very logical about things when you see it, right? The moment I this year, the moment we hit our last year's sales was the moment I actually grind harder, and I was like, man, we hit it. Let's grind harder. I wanna hit this out the park further.
Mm.
So, and to say that I'm not interested in growing, well, to give you the facts, our business have grown since we started. There hasn't been a year where we plateaued. So I know there's still more potential, because if it has grown with me living a lavish life and spending, crazy amounts of money on other things that truly didn't help my business, then I can tell, well, next year, if I pull back on all my spending and put it in more inventory, that means we can grow a lot more. Glenn knows this. He sees it. There are other things that I do I don't post, but he knows it.
Oh man, working harder has more of an upper limit than working smarter for most of us. Astro Drip, Big Money Mo, always work smart because I don't like working. Let me see. Profit flip. Let me see. Best way to ship on eBay. I think we're asking about what was it, pirate ship? I think. I
I
just use straight through
Yeah,
eBay.
I just use straight eBay, UPS ground, or USPS 2 to 3 day, whatever's cheaper.
Even pirate ship will definitely help you than paying the retail post office price.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
but you get discounts almost the same unless you're shipping odd stuff. Because
mm,
pirate ship, uh, you save if it's bigger and not heavy because they're due by volume.
Eric D, didn't B say he was selling off a lot of his Jordans? Are
Yeah, I
you
was,
now
but I
planning to
didn't.
hold?
But I didn't sell. I was gonna sell everything.
Let me see. Number six. Oh, do you plan on trying what you'd ask yourself for the business? Do you plan on trying or adding anything new to your business, such as employees, warehouse, maybe adding different products or niches,
Hmm.
a shipper, things like that in the chat? I think Patrick did say he did want to add
Hmm.
maybe someone to do shipping. Um, I mean, there can get to a point to where you have what was we always talk about her, but even though I always forget her name, but she had like the bins. It's like you have shippers, you have people that take the pictures, you have
Hmm.
listers.
Oh,
That's like a whole
Linda's closet.
yeah that
Yeah,
whole business model.
operation. That's an
Yeah,
operation. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Sneaker Picker said warehouse or storage unit soon, so gonna look into that. Smooth Sailing, what's up?
yeah.
More storage, expanding out to Miami from Houston. Nice, SA. So it looks like we got two people looking on warehouse
Hmm.
storage unit type of thing. We know Big Money Mo. It's got the
Hmm.
storage unit. You have a full basement with plenty
Hmm.
of room in
Right.
there. Let me see what else do we have in the comments. Oh, we're talking about pirate ship. A lot of the other comments on here. What else could you add, I guess, to your business or maybe to something to try
Well,
out or
currently I'm now
explore?
I'm trying to hire some I'm trying to train high schoolers
Mm.
right now. Uh, they're still kind of busy with school, but I'm investing early with them. That way, when school ends and when school stops by summer next year, they'll be able to, work for us part time or maybe even full time. Kind of more of like a kind of like a shadow mode on what they could help us with for future when they're done with high school. So I think that's kind of like one of the things that we're adding into the current business. Only the fact that I'm thinking that I wonder what other creative ideas I could get to improve my business if I'm not worried about shipping,
Mm.
right? And that's always going to be something good, right? Freeing yourself up from mundane responsibilities, I think, is the key to be able to uh figure out or discover creative ways to grow your business.
Miles and William Perry, both of them storage units. Sneaker Pickers basement first floor is 95% full. Mr. Eric, I get lightheaded after shipping 40. Like, oh man, I'm delirious. What's
Lightheaded too.
going on?
So I think you need a snack, Mr. Eric, in the middle of that.
Intramorph will be adding or launching a website. Nice for review mirrors next month. Let me see. Let me go back up. Patrick, have you seen Mr. Maverick, Operation Hustle Bro? I don't know how they manage to ship so many orders in a day. Well, we talked to with Big Money Mo
Yeah,
because he probably knows him better than anybody else maybe
yeah.
here in the chat. But that's just putting in
Operation right
that's
there.
just all him, right? Just all working, shipping, getting everything out,
Yeah,
getting
I
up
think he's
early, and
got help. He's got help.
oh, he got help.
Yeah,
Okay. But definitely interesting if we could do an interview because I
yeah.
know
Yeah.
Big Money Mo is like, yeah, I'd probably be down, so that'd be cool. I don't think I could trust someone with full access to my inventory, to be honest. Astro
Hmm.
Drip,
Good point.
definitely. Yeah, nothing. I don't blame you there. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Mr. Maverick works all day, says Big Money Mo.
That's totally against Big Money Most goals.
All right, number 7. Looking at your business and yourself, what do you wish you had more time to do?
Mm,
This could be business wise or personal wise. I know some people are maybe they wish they had a little bit more time to maybe time and energy when it
yeah.
comes to maybe like fitness or working out
Right.
or
Right.
like
Right.
that
Right.
side of it, which that's understandable. That's outside of the business, but we talked about health being important, mental health or physical health. Anything you wish you had more time to do. It could be spending time with your family. It could be
Hmm?
Wish I had more time to cross list. Maybe I had more time to source. Um, Let me see. SA says more traveling.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Big Money Mo has a great system. I like his strategy. There you go, Danny. Bring him on for Mr. Mavericks. We can definitely look into that. Contact him. Let me see. Him and his wife employees on and off. There we go. Big Money Mo. What do you think you'd want more time to do?
I think I agree with SA, more traveling. I think
Hmm.
that's one of the things that um I've always, I'm curious, right? Like even me, like I grew up in the Philippines, now I'm living here, and like I like it here, and then there's still so many things that I'm discovering that I've never experienced. So now I know that feeling. Now I want to feel that feeling more if I go to explore, like, I want to explore Japan.
Hmm.
I want to explore some different cool cities. Like I want to go to Australia and stuff like that. I want to go to Hawaii and stuff like that. And just those things that I would say they're actually, they're expense, right? But I think they're worth the money you pay because you gain experience. Because ultimately, right, what do we truly gain from this besides, you can't really get, I mean, yeah, there's the financial part of it, but what are you gonna do? Like, the money has to be spent to be felt. That's what I feel like, right? Whether you give to charity, whether you could give things, giving back to your parents. So there's a monetary expense there, but the feeling is what we could say, like, that money can't buy that, but you kind of did, right? Like imagine giving your parents a new house or a new car or something like that, just to give back for what they've done to you, and only if they're supportive parents. I'm just joking. And and then you feel that way. So I think that's kind of cool. Ultimately, we love doing charity work with our church and stuff like that. So I think that's what I want to do. Like I want to get to a point that I'm able to make so much money that spending it in exchange for experience and making a difference won't matter.
Okay.
Right.
Let me go back. So intramorph, yeah, very good point. You don't want to go to Australia right now, dude. They're going through a massive change
Yeah.
with how many rules and things going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy. But you're just saying, for example,
Yeah.
SA, let's go race cars in Germany.
Yeah. 100%. Right. Like, why can't we? The only thing that's stopping us right now is finances. Dude,
And
if we all
see,
had the money, we'd even fly Glenn with us. He can videotape us if he don't want to ride with us, right? He
now he's
can,
just a vlogger. He
yeah,
can vlog.
he can vlog, or he can eat some snacks, try some vegan snacks out there and stuff like that. We'll
Danny
be
B can
set.
open a shop in Philippines easily. They
Yeah,
can get
yeah,
what they want, or that
yeah,
they can't get, says Danny.
yeah.
You can't take the money with you, says
Mm-hmm.
D-Bay. Let me see. But like we said before, I feel like taking that money out and doing things kind of
Yeah,
does feel like you're slowing down, which it's not bad, but
yeah. It is, because it
it.
is. That's the fact. That's a fact, because I know that. I feel that. Right. I've done it. We've all done it at some point. There is a reaction in every action that we do, right? It can't be like you take more money out, next thing you know, you make more money. That's just not how the world works. Imagine if the world worked like that. We'd be all spending, we'd be all ballers.
All right, our last one. What did you learn about yourself or your business in 2021?
Mm,
For the chat, for the
man,
B.
this we went like, we just got deeper and deeper and deeper. I thought that was the deepest we were ever gonna go.
No, this is our last one before
Yeah.
we go.
Wow.
So, what did you learn about yourself or your business in 2021? I would say for me, business side definitely has to be more for. I think with business and YouTube side, maybe how much we rely on Ross and Burlington and
Hmm.
Marshalls as a whole. Not
Yeah.
necessarily saying me, you, Big Money Mo, William Perry, Southtown Fines. I'm just saying as a whole because things have always done well on those stores,
Yeah.
and when they're not, there's a lot of different pivots that go on, or a lot of different trying out things, and there's been a lot of other people dominating in other niches or other ways of getting inventory, and there's other people that haven't.
Hmm.
And I think it's just more than ever than any of the other years as far
Right.
as like being dependent on that. And we know that it's bad to be dependent on any source. That
Yeah.
could go on for online sourcing or
Right.
having a
Yeah.
bulk seller,
Yeah.
because anybody can go away at any point, or like
Yeah. Yeah.
someone like, hey, I'm not going to sell this anymore. Hey, now there's new rules for buying this. Now
Right. Right.
there's new, so something can always happen. But it's definitely not the best, of course, to relying on one set of
Hmm.
maybe stores or maybe place to get inventory, or person or something.
Hmm.
And let me go back to see what the chat says before we get B's answer. Risk it for the biscuit. Don't be afraid to buy more, says Patrick. Let's see. People believe in me before they didn't. Interesting. SA. Hit 200K on eBay this weekend, trying to keep it growing every year. Nice, sneaker pickers. What's up? Too legit. Miles, we learn how to stay persistent, never panic, and always source. The hustle never stops. I love that
Hmm.
comment. There we go, Miles. Sneaker pickers learn that I'm able to adapt in tough situations. I
Hmm.
like that one. It's time to adapt somehow. Everything changes with the world. Hard to do. So Danny and Yaroslav both saying adapt. If you do not replenish the inventory you sold, you will feel the pain not right away, but definitely in 3 to 4 months. Interesting Astro Drip.
Right. That's
Great
true.
point there, too. And Palma, yo, resale freak, I realize there's much more improvement I can make, but also so much more potential for business growth.
Hmm.
I like that comment as well. Oh, Vern, you didn't have
Oh,
to.
what
Ver-
up, Kuya Vern? What up?
Vern's
How are
killing
you?
it right now. This,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is this is nothing for him. So, great girl
Yeah.
boss, Vern. I
Yeah.
appreciate
He's a
the
fam. He's a fam.
yeah
He's
the
a fam in
fam
California.
super chat,
Man, can't wait. Can't wait to
which
hang
we
out.
we really wanted to also go out there and
Just hang
see
out.
them this
Yeah. Just hang
year,
out.
but
Yeah.
we haven't gone anywhere, which
Yeah. Yeah. But
it
yeah,
is what it
we'll,
is.
we'll
But B
say.
said more traveling, so
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna happen soon. Uh, I would say, man, it's hard.
think about it for a little bit.
I'll
A
think
great
about
girl
it.
boss, don't overanalyze, got to take the leap.
Hmm.
Um, Let me see. At Resell Part Time Track Star, I learned that when I have free time, I fill up that time with nonsense. When I'm working and then I go on to resell, I get more done. Major respect to the full timers, Track Star. Let me see. William Perry, to risk a little more on shoes I'm nervous about, take a few more chances.
Hmm.
Intramorph, I think 2020 and 2021 showed me I need to stick with junk yarding. Even before the pandemic, I couldn't find enough local sneakers flipping to make it worthwhile. Any plans for out hustled Atlanta? Haven't had any out hustled plans, and maybe that will change for
Yeah.
2022. We don't know.
I think I got my
Uh,
answer. I think I got my
all right,
answer.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I think the biggest thing really is because we talk about like improving business, improving just different strategies that we can do on this part of our life, right? Business is not our life. Business is just a part of our life, right? So fortunately for us, we're on the driver's seat in this business. So my realization is, and we've done this a lot actually within the last 2 years, is what are the things that I can do to improve myself first before I start thinking about improving my business.
Mm,
So give you a fact, right? If I have a intelligence level of a 7 out of 10, the strategies that B's gonna come up with are 7 out of 10 ideas. So instead of trying to like squeeze my 7 out of 10 brain to come up with better ideas, what am I continually doing to get my 7 out of 10 brain to increase to 8 out of 10,
Mm.
to 9 out of 10?
Or even 7.2.
Set or even 7.2 or 7.3, right? So I think sometimes we don't do that, and actually a lot of times we don't, because now we're actually a lot more reliant about our ability, our current ability, but we actually forget to learn and retrain our brain to learn more about ourselves and elevate our personal knowledge, or our just brain capacity, right? It's kind of like a computer, right? You're not gonna put a Final Cut Pro uh software on a basic computer, because that's gonna crash. So I feel like sometimes that's the reason why a lot of businesses fail, because they're trying to run a high capacity program on a low capacity brain,
Mm.
which in turn, that's why we say it's like, man, those guys are smart. That's the reason why they make money, because they're smart. There's a lot of times I'm not saying smart, just book smart. I'm saying overall intellectual smart. That if you're actually increasing your brain power, the things that are gonna come out of you are actually gonna be better, right? So what goes in is actually what comes out. So what are you feeding yourself in your brain so that your brain can produce something better, or something that you've never thought of? So I think that's my realization.
So maybe we're talking. So what if we simple this down? So maybe like reading more or listening to more,
Hmm.
like someone saying philosophy or wisdom
Hmm.
or things to
Yeah,
educate yourself more.
yeah, 100% agree. I think, right, if we demand more, if we demand more profits or better strategies, I think we need to be disciplined enough to actually read more and educate ourselves more. I think they go in hand, because you can't expect somebody that can't read and write to actually perform way better than somebody that has a higher knowledge and education. I mean, yeah, there are nuances, but obviously those people are eventually gonna learn something, right? So don't expect me to be efficient with, the modern technology if I'm not even immersing myself in exploring every potential that there is within that modern technology. So I think that's just our brain. Our brain is the biggest computer in the world. And so what are we doing to speed it up to have a better capacity? So yeah, I
And
agree.
this guy took it to another level. He's like, I need to look in deep inside my brain and figure out how I can add all this wisdom. And I was like, man, maybe I'm just relying on Ross too much. Like, that's just what I was kind of thinking. But maybe
I
I
mean,
need to dig deeper
that's
into this
which
peanut
everybody
brain.
in the chat says it's philosophy, wisdom, educate. Even people says chess, right? Um, Will Perry said, "I've done that B, but it still comes out getting." I'm very intelligent, but hood. SA, I have brainstorming sessions and have book for notes, which is something that have benefited us both, because we brainstorm, but I wonder what would happen if we brainstorm
Hmm,
a lot more than what we've done.
okay,
Right?
there
If
we
we
go.
did one every once a month, why don't if we do it twice a month now? What if we read two more books instead of one book? You know?
Not a 7 of 10 level, aka Rowdy. Let me see. Every time I dig deeper in my brain, I get a 404 error message. Intramorph. Back to Vern. Vern, thanks again. 100 on the super chat. Um, and let me see. Learn chess. Chess is life. Intramorph. Wisdom will help. SA. Got to keep up with the game. Danny. Eric D. Y'all getting deep. Oh man. You and Glenn brainstorm and end up destroying. What you know what ended up happening is like earlier in the year, me and B went through this like full what was that like spreadsheet on like putting money in here and then
Oh yeah, we
this
did
drop. And we're going through all the drops. We're going to figure out like putting money
all
in
the
this, putting money in
scenarios.
that. All for everything to be delayed and like drops to
Yes,
not come out or
yeah.
that the whole we man, I spent a lot of time figuring out. I was like, yeah, this looks good. Or projections look good. Putting money, that's the way. That's just what happens with business. It's like you can
But
plan
at
all you
least you're
want, and
prepared,
then
right? I mean, at least now we have that in our back pocket that if it ever rolls back in, we know what to do.
very true. Let me see. All right. Let me see. Always educate yourself. Learn other points of views. Trackstar. Let me see. Don't overthink it. Not in control of nothing. Just learn how to pivot and position. Big money mo. Yeah, your brains are exploding at it over here from B's got that wisdom. Let me see. Oh,
That's
Danny
what
was saying,
that's what
oh,
happened. Who haven't used it in a while? He just goes overload and then he just like pukes, pukes himself.
and I felt like when you were talking, it was kind of like in my brain, I was like Homer, to where like he's just thinking
Like
about it. That monkey just like make like just ching ching ching. I was like, what's going on here? Um,
brain freeze.
yeah, exactly. Oh man. All right. We're done. That was a quick hour as far
Mhm.
as going into 2022, but things
Right.
are coming up quick. I'm gonna take a lot Wednesday might be our last live show for a while. I'm ready to
Mhm.
take a nice break
Nice break. Nice
from
break.
going on YouTube. So um yeah, I think
Gonna
that is it.
try to get to 7.1.
There we go. 7
I
point
feel your pain. Why is the dumbest thing? Hey,
big
that's why I like you here.
Ohio. Oh man.
Just a little bit more smarter than this big old man. You're genius.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Wednesday, and we should be ready to roll, and then finish out the Q4 strong, and then we'll be ready to go in January. So,
All
all
right.
right.
Peace
See you
out.
guys.